Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be talking about all the cast members, past, present, that have worked with Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively. Justin Baldoni, the most of them that I could find are from the Jane the Virgin cast, but I have found 17 different people that have spoken out about Blake Lively, either before, after, and how she was to work with. This is going to be quite a long video. Just hang with me because I get through it as quickly as I possibly can, but it's important to see what past people, including the cast of It Ends With Us, has said about working with Justin Baldoni and or Blake Lively. This is a very important video for that case, and I want you to be able to understand what past people have said about them. So we have 17 different people to talk about with Blake Lively. We have a whole cast of Jane the Virgin to talk about with Justin Baldoni. We have videos, interview videos, a bunch of different things to get through. So before we get into that, make sure that subscribe button so you don't miss any of the updates, the tea, the gossip, the news. I do it all on this channel. Hit the subscribe button, especially for updates about this case between Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively. All right, wasting no more time because we have a lot to get through. Let's get into it. So let me start this off by saying that with the It Ends With Us crew and cast, that there are claims that other crew members had issues with Justin Baldoni, but no one has spoken out about issues with him publicly. People have spoken out about Blake Lively and what it was like to work with her and how much they enjoyed her, but no one has spoken out to talk about how much they did not like Justin Baldoni or did not like working with him, like publicly. No one has come out about that, but it is stated in the lawsuit. I will put it here on the screen. I'm going to read it for you. That some of them said that they had issues with working with him, but again, no one has come forward to say that. It just says anonymous. That's all it says. It says anonymous. In Lively's lawsuit, it claims that a handful of other female cast and crew working on It Ends With Us has vocalized complaints about Baldoni. As a result of Mr. Baldoni's behavior, on May 29th, 2023, another cast member logged a sexual harassment complaint about Mr. Baldoni's gross and unwanted comments towards her and others. The filing reads, none of the colleagues have publicly revealed their identities. So far, the only public identity we know about this is Blake Lively. Obviously, we know a lot about that because of the complaint and now lawsuit she has filed in New York City. But I think it is important that no one has come forward to talk about that and admit that they're the ones that filed that complaint, but that Blake Lively said someone did. Just my opinion. So let's start looking into the people that actually spoke about Justin Baldoni in a positive manner from the show Jane the Virgin. The first one is going to be Gina Rodriguez, which is one of the main co-stars that Justin Baldoni worked with. She was the main character in Jane the Virgin. She was Jane. She was it. And so she spoke out about what it was like to work with him. Again, everything that I'm going to say, I'm going to put on the screen so you can see it for yourself as well. And then we will look at it together. It says, after the series wrapped up, they remained close with Baldoni, even officiating 2019 wedding to Joe. In an Instagram post from the ceremony, she called Baldoni her soul brother. Nearly 5 years later, Rodriguez opened up to US Weekly about their friendship and her hopes to get him on her Shaquille O'Neal's Lucky 13 game show. Justin is super busy, but Justin is also one of my closest friends and we talk all the time, Rodriguez exclusively told us in August of 2024. So that was pretty recent. I could get him to come. I could get him to come on the show. Now, I think that's really telling that he actually officiated their wedding, and I will put a picture of that here if I can find it. I'm also going to put some pictures of them when they were younger. It looks like they were very, very close, and that last comment was from August of 2024, which was pretty recent, which means they are still close, they still talk, and she still has no issue with Justin. And she was the main character. This is like Blake Lively to It Ends With Us, Jane the Virgin. That's kind of like what it equals, okay? And there were also intimate scenes on Jane the Virgin as well. If you watch the show, they were half of a couple, if that makes sense. Just go watch the show. It's so good. But they were close. There were intimate scenes with them as well. So the next one we're going to be talking about is Yael Go Gloss. If I said that wrong, I am super sorry. This was actually Raphael's wife in Jane the Virgin. Also had intimate scenes with him, and she worked very closely with him. Now, these comments are back from 2015. I'll put them here on the screen for you so you can see them themselves. And it said that I think we started filming and just had a wonderful time. She recalls during 2015 Press Junkie from the CW telenovela. Baldoni has also stayed in touch with her since the series wrapped. In fact, Israel performer and their co-star Brett Dier watched It Ends With Us in theaters on August of 2024. Genuine friend Justin Baldoni made a phenomenal film. I cried an embarrassing amount and tried to hide it, but probably failed. She gushed via Instagram. I am so proud of you and I love you, friend. Baldoni replied, at the time writing, this makes my heart burst. I love you so much. And I will put that Instagram post on here as well. The next one we're going to talk about is Brett Dier, which also worked very closely with Justin Baldoni and Jane the Virgin as well. Now, he was also on the podcast Man Enough, which Justin Baldoni is part of. Now, if you remember back when this started, Justin Baldoni's co-host actually resigned from working on Man Enough with him. I don't remember her name off the top of my head, but I'll try to find her and put a picture here. She posted a post resigning essentially from doing Man Enough. Now, this is exactly what he said, and if I find the clip of the podcast, I will put it next after I read this to you. He said, we had a lot of good times on the show together, Dier said during a November 2023 episode of Baldoni's Man Enough podcast. Honestly, it was great because Justin let me be myself fully, and that's why I had such a great time with you. The second I was like, oh, I can joke with this guy and be an idiot, I was like, I love him, because that's all we really want, right, in people who make us feel like we can be ourselves. Justin really made me feel like I could be myself, which I think is very telling, and this was in 2023 as well. So also pretty recently, November of 2023, not too long after It Ends With Us was being filmed.
Like for you to be working with someone who at least appeared outwardly that he had it all together?
Well, honestly, it was great because Justin let me be myself fully. And that's why it's like, I had such a great time with you. Mm-hmm. The second I was like, oh, I can joke with this guy and be an idiot, I was like, I love him. Like this, because that's all we really want, right? Is people to make you feel like you can be yourself. And Justin really made me feel like I could be myself. So, yeah.
Well, interestingly enough, you say that about me, but I was the one that was having private feelings about Brett. I had quit acting for a few years before Jane the Virgin came along, just to focus on directing. And I was starting to build what we are doing now with Wayfarer Studios. And I never really felt like I was a great actor because I was always cast in roles based on how I looked. And then I got this role, and here we were shooting the pilot. I hadn't acted in a couple years. And I was like watching the scenes with Brett and Gina's like a savant actress who's just like...
The next we're going to talk about is Haley Richardson, which actually worked with him in 2019's 5 Feet Apart. And she had to say about him, she said, I know Justin for a while and watched his viral marriage proposal video to his wife Emily as my introduction. Richard recalled to Access Hollywood in March of 2019. Brett came home and he was like, this guy is too good to be true. I like him, but you have to watch this. First, I was like, okay, Justin, and then actually got into it and cried a lot. If I can find that viral clip of this proposal, I will put it here.
I have a whole bunch I want to say. I love you. I love you so much. You inspire everything. There's our family.
So the next one that's actually spoken out about working with Justin Baldoni is Cole Sprouse, and he worked on Rachel Lippincott via novel of the same name about 2 teenage cystic fibrosis patients. And this is what he had to say. I think a lot of my nerves had been cleared after I met Justin. When we're talking on an illness like cystic fibrosis, the nature of the film industry might be to romanticize it in a way that would do a disservice to the community, Sprouse told in 2019. Justin, as a director and individual, has had so much experience with the cystic fibrosis community and had so much passion for the community for so long that he eased a lot of those fears. I knew he would bring awareness to cystic fibrosis and do that justice. He added, as an actor, we had to put a lot of faith into people because we're often seen bound by the writing direction or parts of the production cycle we have nothing to do with. Justin knew exactly what he wanted, and we were on the same page. Now, I feel like that one speaks a lot to Justin Baldoni as a director and not just a co-star, because it sounds like to me he had a lot to do with the directing in that as well, and really listened to what they wanted and really took the cystic fibrosis part of that and really did it justice, at least according to Cole. And I think that is very telling about the whole part of him being the director of It Ends With Us as well, because it sounds like in his lawsuit that Blake Lively tried to take over that to the point where he didn't even get say of the final cut. And I've also heard people say they would love to see It Ends With Us final cut Justin Baldoni style and see what the movie difference would be between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni. And I think that's an excellent idea. I think they should come out with a It Ends With Us Justin Baldoni finished product type of movie so that we can compare the two. I think that would be great. But that is from Cole Sprouse, and I'm really glad Cole Sprouse, and I'm really glad he spoke up about him as a director, because that is very telling for us. So this one is really interesting because Penn Badgley actually worked with Blake Lively as an on and off couple on Gossip Girl for years. I think they said it was 7 seasons, but he also dated Blake Lively in real life as well, not just on the TV show. So let's look and see what he had to say. Now, in an interview with Verity back in 2023, which was when the It Ends With Us movie was being filmed, he said, "Beyond our relationship, I don't think anybody was going to be interested in me publicly," he told Verity in 2023. "To be honest, I never struggled with substance. Blake didn't drink, and I think our relationship in some ways saved me from forcing myself to go down that road." Now, they actually split up in 2010, but their character, Dan and Serena, were getting back together on the TV show. Kind of awkward, but it is what it is. They wed in the series in the finale. Now, he was also on a podcast, and if I can find the clip of this podcast, I will put it after I read this, but it says, "I sure do think I was awkward for anybody," Badgley said during the September 2024, so not too long ago, of his Pod Crush podcast. "I'm pretty sure we were exes for nearly half of that entire run of the series. It lasted for nearly 6 years, and I don't think we were together longer than 2. So I wasn't able to find the podcast, but apparently back when all of this was being dug up, all the interviews that Blake Lively had done, there was an interview where she had said something about his appearance and something to the effect that it wasn't a very good reflecting interview of him, and he basically took the high road and didn't comment on it, from what I can tell. So I don't know what he stands on now, but apparently there was a crappy interview that she had done in the past talking about his appearance or something of the sort. So there's that for you. It's going to be Chace Crawford. Now, he didn't have much to say, honestly. He did make a comment about Blake Lively and Badgley after their breakup and still working together, and he said, "No, not at all," talking about, was it awkward, was it like weird, and he said, "No, not at all," and then he said, "Most mature people in the world." So I assume that means they both worked really well together, and even though Blake had split with this guy, they still worked really well together. Rutherford is next, and she played Blake Lively's mom on Gossip Girl. Now, this comment is also from a podcast. I will do my best to find these, but that is a lot of digging, and I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to find them or not, but I will do my best. If I do find them, I'll put them after the quotes. She said, she is just so magical and cool, gushing on a 2022 episode of the Beyond the Velvet Robe podcast. She just had such a way about her. She's so inspiring because she's really fearless, not afraid of anyone, and very open. But she did admit that she did not have a close-knit relationship with Blake Lively during the pilot since she was the new mom in real life. She said, I just didn't have the bandwidth, she said, but it worked out great because there was this sort of separateness that allowed the relationship. It created enough distance where it worked to be the parent in that way. So it doesn't sound like they were super close, but she didn't have a huge issue with her.
Because then all the kids, as you say, like they were all unknowns. Like, could you tell, like right from the beginning, you know, like Leighton and Blake and like Penn, like we have magic here. Like this is a talented group of people.
Oh yeah, they were all so magical, all of them, and all so talented, and did such a incredible job with their roles.
What about, like, what was it like? Because you had plenty of scenes with Blake Lively. Like, what was it like working with Blake?
She's just so magical and like cool. She's like the cool girl, you know, I don't know. She just has such a way about her. She's so inspiring because she's really fearless, not afraid of anyone, and very open. I think she comes from a big family and, you know, a lot of older sisters. So I think she sort of, was used to that person, you know, having that personality of getting in the room and really being able to be seen and heard. And she's just such a cool person.
Did you kind of have that mother-daughter relationship on set?
We did. I was a new mom myself. I mean, I was literally breastfeeding in my when I wasn't in the beginning. My son was 6 months, old or something. And so it was a lot being a brand new mom myself and then playing the mom on the show. So we didn't all become like chummy friends in a way, which we probably might normally have become more that way had I not. I just didn't have the bandwidth. So but it worked out great because there was this sort of separateness that allowed that relationship. I don't know if I'm articulating that well, but it created enough distance where it worked to be the parent in that way.
That makes sense. And that is kind of the relationship like Serena and Lily had. Love, but they had their differences at times.
Yeah.
This is from, and I hope I'm saying her name right, Michele Trachtenberg. And this is a really unusual comment. So I'm not sure what to think about this one. I'd like to know what you think because, I don't know, this comment just seems off to me. So apparently back when filming was going on for Gossip Girl, there were some rumors going around that Blake Lively and Leighton Meester were at odds. Now, she later debunked the claims while speaking with Vanity Fair back in 2017, but this is how she worded it. She said, "It's funny because when we were filming, there was Leighton hates Blake, Blake hates Leighton, everyone hates Blake, everyone hates Leighton, everyone hates Chace, and blah, 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 blah." She recalls, "It really wasn't. We really were all chill. It was cool." But why would that be circulating so much if that didn't have at least some truth to it? Did they have an issue with Blake? I don't know.
Now you're splashed everywhere. You're in all of the trades.
Yeah, there was an article recently saying that Leighton and I were frenemies. And it's
frenemies. Is that the new term? Frenemies?
Yeah, we're friends, but we're also enemies. And they see our characters on the show, and they want that to be true in a sense. I think they want everybody's characters in real life to emulate that. And it's really strange because they always want to pit women against each other. You don't hear about like Penn and Chace hating each other and being jealous and competitive. So it's very silly. But we all do get along very well, and it's upsetting that they have to do that to try to sell magazines. There's enough gossip on the show. Just watch that.
How do you feel about gossip? I mean, it's one of those things we talk about it from time to time because it seems to come up quite a bit for us. But what do you think of gossip, and did you have to deal with gossip as a kid? about you or around you?
I think it's a bad thing. I think still watch the show though. No, but I think it's. I've been a victim of it before in high school. I was involved in a lot of activities, so a lot of people knew who I was. At one point, parents lied and said that my parents had paid the show choir director to put me in the choir because I can't sing or dance to save my life.
But you were lead in that choir,
I went in there. I was like, I'm supposed to be in this choir. Yeah, I was very passionate, and they put me in the choir. But I lost a lot of friends because of it.
Yeah.
So that was hard to deal with, but I think that it's mostly a negative thing, and
Well, it's
it's
inevitable,
sad.
though. That's the thing. It's like it is. I think it will always be negative in the end, but it starts out as a lot of times an innocent thing. People love to talk about other people. It's just natural. That's why they love to watch television.
Well, that worked with Blake Lively hand in hand is Anna Kendrick. Now they worked together on 2 A Simple Favor movies, which A Simple Favor 2 was actually filmed in 2024 last year after It Ends With Us was filmed. So that is kind of telling here. So we are going to read that, but the first interview I'm going to read from is from 2018. So the first interview is from 2018 saying, "It was great to have the kind of partner in crime vibe with you," Kendrick told Lively in a joint BuzzFeed interview from 2018. "Sometimes you work with somebody and they're great. They're really genuinely great, and they just have a very different working style, let's say." I really wonder what she means by that. They're the kind of person that you can't come to them in between and be like, "Yo, let me tell you what just happened, so that was great." And if I can find this BuzzFeed interview, I will put it here. Now, this is back in when they filmed it in 2024, saying, "She lives on the East Coast, I live on the West Coast, so we don't get to see each other often," Kendrick told People that October. "But it was lovely, and I think those characters have such weird chemistry that it's so fun to just get the gang back together, and it does feel a little bit like riding a bike."
Oh, how did Blake Lively delete her Instagram?
So on Instagram, it's not really deleting your Instagram because you just hide your posts and then you can get them back if you want. But only pop stars do it, and
You're in the Illuminati.
I'm campaigning to become a pop star.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I thought it would bring me one step closer.
Okay. How's that working?
No, not very well.
Good.
Along with A Simple Favor, Paul Feig is the director of A Simple Favor, and he actually spoke out after the allegations of that Blake Lively had the complaint that she had filed through Twitter, or X, whatever you want to call it, actually replying to the New York Times statement about the lawsuit. And I think it's interesting to see a director's point of view from this versus just someone like a co-star. So he replied to the New York Times tweet saying, "I've now made 2 movies with Blake, and all I can say is she is one of the most professional, creative, collaborative, talented, and kind people I've ever worked with. She truly did not deserve any of this smear campaign against her. I think it's awful she was put through this." But since Justin Baldoni has come out with his lawsuit, there has not been a word that I have been able to find from Paul. Now, Michele Morrone is the next one we're going to talk about. Now, he did not film with Blake Lively in The Simple Favor 1. He did film with Blake Lively in Simple Favor 2. Now, this is important to note. Simple Favor 2 was being filmed in summer of 2024, which means it was a year after It Ends With Us in 2023. Now, Michael actually has a whole video that I'm going to play next for you where he talks about what Blake Lively was feeling, and he says that she was in pain, she was hurting, you could see it, and that is pretty telling, honestly, for someone to, that had worked with her after the incidents allegedly occurred, saying that he could see that she was in pain. Now, you can take that for what it's worth, whatever you want to think, you can draw conclusions from that, but I'm going to play that for you here in just a second. He also, in this video, tags the New York Times article, again, the same article that Justin Baldoni is suing the New York Times for writing against him. Everyone that is speaking out is tagging that article, which is the article that Justin Baldoni is suing. So here is exactly what he had to say.
So it's usually not my thing to make those kind of videos, but I think it's time to stand up for a person that I really love. And this person is Blake Lively. I personally met Blake during A Simple Favor 2. We shot this incredible film together, and I felt something was wrong, and I felt the pain, and then we had the opportunity to talk about me and her, but was in pain. And I'm really tired to see those kind of cruel and bad comment about her without knowing the situation. So that's why I want to link right here an article, the New York Times, just to make you understand before commenting what happened. That's all I ask, and that's all I want you to do. All right, Blake, I love you so much. Keep it up, and we're gonna see each other very, very soon. Love you.
Ben Affleck did not work in A Simple Favor, but he is the only one that I can find that has spoken out about Blake Lively that has filmed with The Town back in 2010. So I figured I'd just add him on this video since I have a lot to go over. So when Ben Affleck worked with her, apparently they had a sex scene on the very first day, and one of the allegations in the complaint was about sexual harassment. So I feel like this statement is pretty telling on that end of the spectrum, because not a lot of people have talked about how sex scenes and things work on movie sets, specifically with Blake Lively, other than her accusations against Justin Baldoni. Now, it's pretty small writing, so I'm just going to put it across the screen here, and I'm going to read it from my computer. It says, "You have your head on pretty straight," he told her in an interview magazine Profile published that August. "You and I had to do a sex scene on the first day of shooting, and you were very poised and comfortable about it. More mature than some of the crew members." Gwyneth Paltrow. Now, she did not directly say anything about the lawsuit, but this was posted on her Instagram story not too long after the lawsuit was made public. I feel like this is her way of not being controversial, but showing her support for Blake Lively. Let me know what you think, or it could just be honestly her and bad timing and on her part. Who knows? But this is what she had posted, which I don't think it was a mistake, only because it is about her hair care line, and that was one of the big issues that was discussed in the lawsuit, was that the way that she marketed this movie, It Ends With Us, as more of like a rom-com, and used this to market her hairline products and things. Instead of using this movie to promote not promote domestic violence, but promote awareness for domestic violence. So let me know what you think about that. But what she did was she posted a picture of Blake Lively's hair care line and saying, "Just added to my Christmas wish list," with the little queen emoji right there. Also adding the link so that you can go buy it if you want to yourself. So this is Shawn Levy. He actually worked with Lively on Deadpool and Wolverine, and this is what he posted on his Instagram story. Sorry, I'm looking down at my computer to make sure I get this right. He posted this, which was the link to the New York Times post. Again, want to note that the New York Times story is what Justin Baldoni is suing the New York Times for, and that is what everyone is linking to show their support for Blake Lively. Now, I will say that was a very informative article, not necessarily the article, but they did have the lawsuit link that you could look at, which I think is one reason why a lot of people had it linked there. But he screenshotted the "We Can Bear Anyone Inside a Hollywood Smear" campaign, private messages, details, and alleged campaign tarnished Blake Lively after she accused Justin Baldoni of misconduct on the set of It Ends With Us, and he put on the top, "Proud to call Blake Lively a friend," with the link to that article. Again, this is the second director we have seen speak out about Blake Lively in a positive manner. So this is from Bart Johnson, which according to Google is the brother-in-law of Ryan Reynolds, and he went to X or Twitter and tweeted, whatever you call it. I don't even know what you call it on Twitter anymore, or X, I don't even know. But this is exactly what he had to say, and obviously being part of the family, he is going to be in support of Blake Lively, but he says he is a fraud. He put on a costume of a hero man bun, and all that man bun comment, because he used to have really long hair, used all of the trendy catchphrases and buzzwords on his podcast, because you remember that Justin Baldoni does have a podcast called Man Enough, which his co-host did resign from. None of it's genuine, it's all theater, and everyone fell for it for years. Rewatched his videos with a more critical eye and watched his compliment and praise himself with faux humility and self-deprecation. What a performance. That is a statement, let me tell you. I'm surprised he was not named in Justin Baldoni's lawsuit as well. That was a heck of a statement. Now, Bart Johnson actually is the husband of the next person we're going to talk about, which is Robyn Lively, which is Blake Lively's sister. Now, she actually went to an Instagram story. I could not find a copy of that Instagram story, and apparently neither could this article, or they would have had it linked. So I'm just going to tell you what she said. She posted on her Instagram story, Blake Lively's sister Robyn took to her Instagram story where she wrote, "Finally, in capital letters, justice for my sister, Blake Lively," and also highlight a certain phrase from the New York Times article. I don't know what phrase that was, but if I find it, I will post it on my Instagram story so that you can see it over there. It says, in another post, she argued urged people to read the article, which she linked and wrote Blake Lively with a heart drawn around it. Again, linking that same New York Times post that Justin Baldoni is suing over. It all wraps back around to that Justin Baldoni suing that article. It all comes back to that article, and honestly, I think his lawyer and himself did a very good job starting off the whole thing by suing the New York Times versus straight off suing Blake Lively. But they have said they are going to be suing Blake Lively, and that we are going to be getting all those text messages between them so that we can make our own conclusion. So make sure you subscribe, because we are going to be looking at all of those when they come out with a fine-tooth comb. Hopefully we'll be at 1,000 subscribers by then so I can monetize off those videos, but if not, I will still be here to inform you and let you know. But monetizing would be nice, right? Obviously. Next is a very random person, Amber Heard. Some people are, I don't even know if Blake Lively knows who Amber Heard is or has ever talked to Amber Heard, but obviously she was in the Johnny Depp case against Amber Heard, and Amber Heard lost that court case there. Now, she is supposed to owe Johnny Depp $10 million, but she got $2 million, so really she owes him $8 million. And one interesting fact about this as well is that Johnny Depp and Justin Baldoni had the same PR crisis manager. I think it's Melissa Nathan, which is very, very, very interesting, seeing how Johnny Depp did win this case. Is that going to help Justin Baldoni in any way? Because obviously she has been through this more than once. Now, Amber Heard said that she spoke on the Blake Lively allegations against Justin Baldoni, who hired the same PR crisis manager that Heard's ex-husband Johnny Depp used during her high-profile defamation trial back in 2022. It says, in that statement to NBC News, Heard said, social media is the absolute personification of the classic saying, a lie travels halfway around the world before truth can get its boots on. I saw it firsthand and up close. It's a horrifying and it's destructive. Trying to compare her situation to Blake Lively's situation, which honestly is kind of similar, but also very vastly different. But I do think this could potentially be just as big as this case. But unfortunately, if it goes to trial, at least in New York City, I'm pretty sure that it can't be recorded, and there's no cameras supposed to be in the courtroom. So I don't think we'll have it live. That Johnny Depp specifically picked a state that the court case could be aired live in when he was filing his lawsuit against Amber Heard. Now, New York, I don't think is one of the states that can have cameras, so we will have to do updates via the news and articles and sources like that, which I will be here for every step of the way. Now, this is the interesting one. All right, Amy did an interview a while back, like a long time, and I will play it for you in just a minute, where she essentially made fun of Blake Lively, basically implying that she does not like Blake at all. Now, she didn't say much about this. She left it very, very simple. But she did go to Instagram and post a story where she just simply wrote, I believe Blake. Now, she is a comedian, but this interview, or not interview slash appearance, whatever, of this sketch, she did say they are not close friends. Not close friends does not mean they don't like each other. It just means they're not close. But this skit is interesting to say the least. Let me know what you think about this in the comments, because I was kind of shocked when I saw this. So here is that skit.
She like sleeps in like a beautiful tower covered in ivy, like nursing her baby, and definitely never heard about our like stupid scene.
Asked about a sketch on her Comedy Central show Inside Amy Schumer that inevitably drew some comparisons to Blake Lively. You'll see why.
Please welcome, ladies and gentlemen, Amy Blake Lively. Ladies and gentlemen.
I'm so excited to be here.
Oh, really? Yeah, you look excited. Does she look excited? You look excited?
No, this is my favorite TV show.
Oh, really?
My absolute favorite TV show. I've been watching this since I was like 16.
So like 2 years ago?
Stop it. Stop it.
The sketch went viral when it aired in May, comparing the faux celebrity interview to Lively's 2010 appearance on The Late Show with David Letterman.
But you're just a kid too, right? You're fairly young, but right.
Yeah, I just turned 23.
Oh my God, good for you.
Thank you so much.
Not surprisingly, Schumer told host Andy Cohen that Lively has not reached out about the sketch.
You're not gonna believe this, but we're not close friends. So I know. I have not heard anything.
So the first one we're going to talk about is Jenny Slate. And if you've watched the movie, this is Blake Lively's best friend and her employee that works with her in the flower shop when watching the movie. This is also Justin Baldoni's sister in the movie as well. Now, this statement was immediately after the lawsuit had been, or the complaint from Blake Lively had been filed back in December. She has not made another statement since Justin has filed his lawsuit against the New York Times. But this is what she had to say. And obviously, one thing I want to point out too is that she was with Blake Lively during the premiere red carpet with It Ends With Us, while Justin Baldoni was by himself. But as you could see in the text messages that we went over in a previous video, he was asked to not come to the premiere at all, but they kept them separate for reasons because they were not getting along. So Jenny Slate started alongside Lively and Baldoni as a sister of Baldoni's character in the film, released a statement in Today in support of Lively, saying, "As Blake Lively's castmate and friend, I voice my support as she takes action against these reports to have planned and carried out an attack on her reputation," she said. "Blake is a leader, loyal friend, and a trusted source of emotional support for me and many who know and love her." Now, Brandon Sklenar is the person that plays her person that she fell in love with when she was younger. I'm not going to spoil the movie for you. You'll have to watch it. But he has spoken out via Instagram stories. But there's also an interview that I dug up that is very interesting and a little bit, kind of, you can let me know what you think, controversial to what he initially said. I will read you what he said, and then I will show you that interview. Kind of interesting, and I can't tell whether this interview was pre-lawsuit or whether this interview was post-lawsuit, but it sounds to me like it was post-lawsuit. But again, you can let me know what you think in the comments. So this is actually a screenshot from one of my TikTok videos. I'll have it linked in the description. But he posted a screenshot of the lawsuit and the whole, or of the complaint that Blake Lively had filed, and he posted on his Instagram story tagging Blake with a heart and saying, "For the love of God, read this." And that is all he said about it, other than this interview that I'm going to put here now.
I love the movie, so thank you for standing up and telling everyone to cool it, because it's all about the story.
Yeah, thanks for saying that. Yeah, I put that out and I was like, see how this goes. I don't know. I don't know. It just seems silly to me. You know, it's just kind of defeating the whole purpose of the thing to spread any negativity. You know, and it's you know, it's an important film for so many women and for so many survivors of domestic abuse and yeah, that's what it's all about, is making people feel heard and strong and loved. So to project anything but that just seems counterintuitive. And, you know, I appreciate those people that appreciated it, for sure.
I appreciated it because I really love the film, and I hope you all can come together and do another. I love the
About one of probably the most important people to deal with this whole thing is Colleen Hoover herself, the author of the book It Ends With Us. Now, I think it is important to note here that Colleen Hoover and Blake Lively have been close, and she has always wanted Blake Lively to play the part of Lily in It Ends With Us. to the point where Blake wished Colleen a happy birthday in a very detailed Instagram story that we're going to read now. This is the birthday post that Blake Lively posted for Colleen Hoover. Here you can see, obviously, they're pretty close. It says, everyone who knows this woman is changed for it. She's calm and steady. Her integrity is her foundation. Her humor levels you out of nowhere. Her quiet fortitude is mighty, and she always chooses the kindest path. She loves her fans. She loves her friends. She loves her community. She loves her family, but mostly she loves Diet Pepsi. And oh boy, do we love her. Happy birthday, Colleen Hoover. My life has changed because of your work, your art, your friendship for good. So many people, and it's cut off by my little screen here. The rest of it is. So if you can read it, great. But, and this is from my TikTok account, so ignore my face behind it. But she also posted on her Instagram story specifically about the lawsuit and what she had to say. Now, honestly, I kind of feel bad for Colleen in a way, because this movie was supposed to be about domestic violence. It was supposed to be awareness. It was a very popular book. It's a very popular movie. And I feel like this lawsuit battle has kind of taken away from the movie and the book and all of her hard work in a way. But Colleen posted on her IG story, at Blake Lively, you have been nothing but honest, kind, supportive, and patient since the day we met. Thank you for being exactly the human that you are. Never change, never wilt. And she also tagged the lawsuit below, or the complaint that Blake Lively had filed, just like the rest of them did. So it looks like to me, other than that interview, that most of the It Ends With Us crew, or at least the 3 people that have spoken out, are on Blake Lively's side, but they also seem to be the closest people to Blake Lively. And again, I think a lot of people are not speaking out in favor of Justin Baldoni because of the backlash they feel like they may get from Blake Lively and her husband Ryan Reynolds, because they do hold a very high spot in the celebrity community. They are pretty high A-listers, in my opinion. That is all. That was a lot. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments. Does this change your mind at all about one or the other? Do you think people were forced to say one thing or another? What do you think? I would love to know in that comment section. Hit the like button. Send this video to someone that you think would enjoy it. And most importantly, hit the subscribe button so you can be updated on all the tea, gossip, rumor, news, celebrity gossip. We covered all on this channel. And until next time, love you. Bye.